So we're entering the third week of the protests across Canada. They're saying it's about vaccine mandates and passports, but we all know that's foolishness. The majority of the people that have been at these events in Ottawa, the border protests, information blockades, whatever you want to call it, they don't want to be Canadian. Do you want a change in the government? Do you want to have their way as the way? No Trudeau government, no government interference. Do what they want. Can't be told to have vaccination. Can't be told this, told that. Now, I've been a journalist for 40 years. I've been at many major protests, covering them: Aboriginal protests, union protests, EI protests, municipal protests. For God's sake, we blockaded our road in 1975, my hometown of Gravel Hill, to get it paved, and it worked. But going to the national capital of a country and popping horns for 3 weeks, and upside down flags, and having conspiracy and QAnon theories and microchip lectures saying, they're putting microchips in our bodies, whereas we know Microsoft follows everybody because most computers are the MS, the Microsoft operating system, which makes no sense. So we're in week 3. What's going to happen, people are saying, in the next few weeks? Well, we can tell you, if Ukraine gets invaded by Russia, nobody's going to be talking about this protest internationally. So the only way it's going to go away fully in Canada is if the Russians attack a country that was part of the USSR 30 years ago. So go figure it out. Anyway, here's the point I'm trying to make. 90% of Canadians believe in a vaccine. 10% of Canadians don't believe in it, or 5 to 8% are radical about it. Are they Canadians? No. They're not Canadians, because a Canadian usually, when they protest, it's about sense. There's no way the truckers are going to be allowed in the States to do their business without being vaccinated, because the U.S. has the same rules as we do. Blockading our side of the border is not as much as blockading their side of the border. If they're blockading the people coming in from the U.S., it'd make a lot of sense. The only protest to me made a little bit of sense was the Ambassador Bridge, because that's Windsor and Detroit. That makes a lot of sense from a standpoint, but it wasn't like 4,000 truckers or 4,000 people in Ottawa. By my estimation, it was no more than a dozen vehicles. The protests in Frankton, they were predicting 2,000 people, and if you know Frankton, he blocked off most of the main thoroughfares to downtown, because Frankton only has one side to the downtown. There's only one way to get there, and you can block off both sides. You can't get down. You can drive down, but trucks, if you don't have the manifesto, stop going down. See, that's how it goes. Anyway, the War Measures Act, which eventually emerged into Emergency Act that Justin Trudeau brought into enforcement this week, I don't know how far it's going to go. But put this in perspective, this is not a great moment in Canadian history. We had worse, the separation vote and the Cold War issues and all like that. But for the people that joined in an Ottawa protest, I got friends and family out there, it's just completely ridiculous. Do you want to be martyrs? You find that strange nobody's gotten shot in this protest? Because they're all a bunch of idiots. You got religious zealots too, which I'm a Christian, I don't know what God they're following, but they come up with their own idea saying because maybe the vaccination was used some fetal juices or whatever post-pregnancy was used for the vaccination, that means it's negative. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, meningitis, TB, polio, mumps, measles, all the bad diseases Canada's eradicated would be for vaccination. Now, how did this all start? Was it our crazy lady from Playboy magazine, Jenny McCarthy, that started all this anti-vax? Is it the Kennedys? It's all the theorists and all that. When it comes down to it, Canada, the only reason these people are not dead or not shot, they would have been shot dead in the States or arrested, there's a reason. It's because Canadians give that sober second thought. The 90% of Canada, which are the majority of the positive people in Canada, thought better than the 10% of the wackos. In the States, you're half and half. You're only Democrat or Republican. But the Canadians, there's PCs, and there's NDPs, and there's Greens, and there's Liberals, different types of NDPs, different types of PCs, and Conservatives. Now, let's who sees the big loser in this. Aaron O'Toole for sure for losing his job. There's going to be no leadership for the Conservative Party. If this goes to Justin's advantage, he could be seeking a majority within 18 months. Now, will he win a majority? I don't know. Because as it's working right now, unless this is completely mismanaged in the next few weeks, anything is possible. People are going to be looking back at this and saying, well, what can we do to make this not happen again? And the judicial hand is going to come down, like with the Coots border people who are armed to the teeth, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other way to say it. If you read the CBC report, the majority of them are in their early 20s. A person in their early 20s doesn't know what Canada is all about, because only people like me, 40 and over, who have lived in the best Canadian system, knows how it goes about. Is Canada going to break up over this? Of course not. Is Canada going to be closer together because of this? Of course not. It basically, what it is, it's 10% of the population that basically, who was paid to stay home, and now that the CERB has run out, they're on their march. That's the best way to say it. If the CERB checks were still coming in, you think if they got the CERB checks that were paid off and all different funding to be in Ottawa protesting, they were protesting, oh, well, we can't. We lived on the federal tip, true to the person we hate, and this and that. And all these crazy people selling fuck Trudeau shirts and all that. Give us a leader that is sensible to vote for that's not Trudeau, because Jagmeet Singh can win, because across Canada there's a whole bunch of split NDP vote. The Conservatives are not going to win any election unless they embrace the progressive Conservative wing of the Conservative Party, which is a reversal of what happened before. Anyway, keep on watching, and for any listeners in the States, if you're wondering why nobody has been killed in all of this, well, put it this way. Yeah, you know what happens when you don't have guns? Nobody gets shot. Coincidence, I wonder. Thanks for listening. Bye.